when she had to go to appointments, she called and let us know too.
What?
We accept that baby from day one. From day one. Anything that you ask us to do for this baby, we've been there for this baby.
Who stayed there all 3 days in the hospital?
You did.
Me.
But
Who the baby came home with the first day she came home?
And she came home with you, but still.
What part I'm not there for? My daughter look.
Obviously, you needed more than 15 minutes of marriage counseling, so you understand that you can't ask somebody else to marry you when you're still married.
It was a lot going on in between
Oh,
that
this
time.
is a lot.
Okay, folks, strap in, because this one's a doozy. Judge Lake announces the case of Fuller vs. Nelson. Mr. Fuller and his mother have come all the way to court to stake their claim that Mr. Fuller is the biological dad of Ms. Nelson's adorable 2-year-old daughter, Milani. They're totally convinced Ms. Nelson previously gave the thumbs up on Mr. Fuller's paternity and even let a father-daughter bond blossom. I mean, talk about family drama.
Mr. Fuller, you and your mother are here today to prove that you fathered the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Milani. You say Ms. Nelson led you to believe that you were her daddy and build a strong relationship, but now wants to rip her away from you.
Yes, Mom.
And here's where it gets spicy. Ms. Nelson is like, sure, he knows my kid, but she drops the bomb that he's definitely not the dad. She's even talking about cutting all ties if the court backs her up. This moment just cranks up the emotional volume for the episode, laying out the serious stakes for everyone involved. Buckle up, because the emotional roller coaster is just leaving the station.
You are now certain that he is not your child's father and will prove it in court. So, Ms. Nelson, what are your intentions today if the DNA results prove you're correct?
They will never see my daughter again, and their time just has expired with my child.
Wow. That's kind of harsh considering they have a relationship with her, isn't it?
Hold up, what's this now? Mr. Fuller dives into his tale about the bond he's got with Milani, talking about how Ms. Nelson let the kiddo crash at his place overnight. That's big, right? Shows a heap of trust and relationship building mojo between Mr. Fuller and the little tyke at that time. You'll want to stick around to see how this plays out.
I got a bond with Milani. She'll bring her hair to me. She'll let her stay the night and everything for about 3 months.
Not 3 months. I'm positive.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Have you allowed Milani to spend the night with
I
him?
have allowed her to spend the night with me.
We have this baby 2 to 3 months.
You guys had her for
Whenever
a few
she
weeks.
need us
No, we
to
don't.
leave.
You had her
I
for a
don't-
few weeks.
Day one when this girl called me, I said, oh, I'm a grandmother. I said,
I never
Miss
called you.
Nelson,
I never even had
I
the number
promise
to
to
get
God,
in
I
contact
would
with
tell
you.
Get this, Ms. Nelson had to slide into Mr. Fuller's Facebook DMs to drop the news about the pregnancy after he ghosted her calls. Ouch, right? This whole not talking directly thing just throws another wrench into the gears of this paternity puzzle. Keep your eyes peeled, because the twists are just getting started.
Say you never called his mother.
She called
never
my
called his
phone.
mother. I didn't
wouldn't
even
tell
have
you
his
no
mother's
lie, you
number.
want- She called my phone and said she was pregnant. When she had to go to appointments, she called and let us know too.
What?
We accept that baby from day one. From day one. Anything that you ask us to do for this
always
baby,
here
we've been
for
there
this
for this
baby.
You
baby.
guys have
Always.
been there as far as now with my
Always.
financial situation.
Come on.
Plot twist, when Milani was born, Ms. Nelson decided to keep it on the down low and didn't tell the Fullers. That's a pretty bold move, signaling the start of her backing away from them in terms of the little one's life. Watch how this bombshell affects the courtroom vibes.
Do you inform them? Do they come to the hospital?
I did not inform them at all. My mother, behind my back, called them.
Once she called them, did they come to see the baby?
No, they did not.
How did they ever form a relationship with the child?
My baby was about 5 or 6 months old. I was at work. I was with someone, in a relationship with someone.
So now at 5 months old, you're in a new relationship.
No, I was in a relationship before him.
Didn't see that coming. Mr. Fuller whips out some text messages he thinks prove he's the dad. We're talking cutesy nicknames and chit-chats about the child. He's pretty convinced, and honestly, it's making me convinced too. But hold on to your hats. The next testimony is a real eyebrow raiser.
These are text messages.
Yeah.
So from Miss Nelson, I see a message that says, we made a beautiful little angel. I love you, Milani. Then Mr. Fuller says, I know, BM,
Baby.
our baby, very beautiful. Thank you. That must be thank you,
Yeah.
BM for Milani. Devontae Fuller sends a message, beautiful, BM. And then Miss Nelson sends, thanks.
Here's where it gets even juicier. Ms. Johnson, Ms. Nelson's mom, hits the stand and she's Team Fuller all the way. She thinks her daughter's mixed feelings about Mr. Fuller's daddy status are tangled up in some other dude drama. The plot thickens. You won't want to miss what's coming up. It's a jaw dropper.
Up the stairs and have a seat next to the judge.
Ms. Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Do you believe Mr. Fuller is Milani's biological father?
Yes.
Why do you believe your daughter cannot even believe it's a possibility that he's her biological father?
The other guy.
The other guy.
Whoa, curveball. Ms. Nelson throws out there that she never wanted Mr. Fuller in the picture from the get-go. We're peeling back layers of personal conflict and regret over the connections that got too deep too fast. The courtroom's about to get hit with some real talk.
All of this emotion and attachment is almost by default.
And she's acting like
Because I don't understand how you so angry with two people that love your child so much.
They have
So even in my chambers, I mean, because I had to prepare for y'all. I didn't know it. I did not know storm was coming like this, but I knew this was going to be a very interesting case.
The tension is electric as Judge Lake is about to drop the DNA bombshell.
Mr. Fuller, you are not her father.
I knew it. I knew who I slept with. I knew it. I knew it.
Take this baby from us.
Judge Lake kicks off the dramatic showdown involving Mr. Rash, who is desperately seeking paternity results for his 2 kiddos, amidst suspicions that his wife, Ms. Fuentes, has been playing musical beds. Mr. Rash spills the tea about his wife's escapades, including ditching him for another fella and having a slumber party with not 1, but 5 brothers from the same clan. And hold your horses, because this roller coaster is just starting.
Mr. Rash, you are here today seeking the results of paternity tests for your 2 children. You claim your wife, Ms. Fuentes, has cheated on you repeatedly. You say she once left you for another man, slept with 5 brothers from the same family, and even had the name of another guy tattooed on her body.
Yes, Your Honor.
In a bold move, Ms. Fuentes steps up and owns her colorful past, dragging another potential daddy, Mr. Judd, into the courtroom drama, who's awkwardly chilling outside. She admits to her infidelities, but plays the tough childhood card, explaining she's been upfront with Mr. Rash about her wild days from the get-go. And folks, buckle up because it's about to get bumpier.
You've never really been in love with him.
Yes, ma'am.
Today, you've also brought another man to court who you believe could also be the father of one of your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you believe Mr. Rash has good reason to doubt paternity?
I do, in fact. Actually, I have cheated on him. I'm gonna admit that, but he knew from the get-go, like, look, my past, I grew up in foster care, that in order to move forward, I told him everything. Don't use my past against me. I was still in love with my
That's a lie, Your Honor. Let me tell you why that's a lie.
You won't believe this fiery exchange. As the heat turns up, Mr. Rash and Ms. Fuentes dive into a tit-for-tat over her alleged indiscretions, with juicy details about scandalous text messages and debates over relationship statuses during her extracurricular activities. This argument heats up with accusations flying faster than a popcorn kernel in hot oil. And just when you think it can't get any more heated, wait till you see what's next.
Even while you're caring for them for 6 months and stepping up to the plate, keeping them away from their mother that's not being a good mother, in your mind, you just don't know for sure if they're yours?
I mean, just because of all the cheating that she's done, I mean, regardless that I don't want them to think any different of me. I don't want them to think any different.
And I will admit, Your Honor, that good dad, you know, he has good intentions, but the way he goes about, he's too busy worrying about what me and him is going to do.
Things are about to get even spicier. Enter Mr. Judd, the man Ms. Fuentes claims could also be the father of her child. He confirms their fling, but seems unsure about his role in the baby-making equation, hinting that the family soap opera might be messing with his head. The plot thickens, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for the juicy bits coming up.
I want to hear from the brother she actually admits to having sex to. I want to hear what he has to say. Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Judd into the courtroom, please? Fuentes, Mr. Judd is the man that you also say could be the father.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll ask this just because you are in the courtroom, sir, and I want to hear directly from you. Did you have sex with Ms. Fuentes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Mrs. Judd steps into the fray, shedding some light on her perspective of Ms. Fuentes as practically family, despite the bedroom bingo with her sons. She suggests that embarrassment and family dynamics might be swaying Mr. Judd's paternal doubts. And folks, the tea is piping hot and about to be spilled.
So she had sex with several of your sons. What do you feel about that?
She'll do anything in the world for me, and I'll do anything in the world for her. I love her children. Her children look at me like a grandmother. I look at her like a daughter. And seriously, I think the only reason why Chuck would say that the fact that she did sleep with his brothers, he's afraid what they're going to think.
Drum roll, please. The moment of truth arrives as Judge Lake whips out the DNA results.
When it comes to 2-year-old Gabriella, Mr. Judd, you are the father.
Oh, my God. I'll
Why are
never
you
forgive
crying?
you for that. I'll never forgive you for that.
Judge Lake is setting the stage, laying out the stakes as Mr. Moses gears up to prove he's the dad of adorable 1-year-old Lamaya, despite Ms. Lytle's shake-your-head denials. Mr. Moses is not just here for a cameo, he's all in, fighting for custody and showing off his fatherhood badge with pride. The drama meter is just getting cranked up.
Mr. Moses, you've summoned Ms. Lytle to court to prove that you fathered her 1-year-old daughter, Lamaya. And you say Ms. Lytle denies that you're the father because you want to fight for custody. Ms. Lytle, you claim you want this paternity dispute to be over just like your relationship and hope once the DNA results are revealed, you won't ever have to see Mr. Moses again.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Get this, Mr. Moses went full commitment mode, signing the birth certificate because he truly believed Lamaya was his. But plot twist, Ms. Lytle later tossed in a curveball with claims of another potential dad. Oh, and Mr. Moses, he didn't just show up, he named the baby. Talk about being emotionally invested right from the get-go. Buckle up, because this ride's about to get bumpier.
I signed the birth certificate.
Let me see that birth certificate. So wait a minute, Mr. Moses, you signed the birth certificate, you believe this is your baby?
Yes.
You Lameek, it's Lamaya.
Your Honor,
You all go together.
I named my child. She named after
You're on the
whole
birth
name.
certificate.
Yes.
Your Honor, I told him when I was
there
8 months
since day
pregnant
one.
that there was a possibility that he was not the
She
father.
say this all the time, Your Honor. And
Did anyone else's jaw just drop? Ms. Lytle just dropped a bombshell by admitting she had a fling with her ex around the baby-making time. This revelation adds layers of soap opera-worthy complexity to the paternity puzzle, spinning a web of personal histories and murky fatherhood claims. It's like a daytime TV cliffhanger, but you don't have to wait for the commercials to end to see what happens next.
time, Your Honor. She was dating her
ex.
Her ex-boyfriend. They've been sexing for however long.
No,
Never
we
got pregnant. Soon as she come dealing with me, she's pregnant. A month, 2 months later. How is not my baby?
How do you know it's your baby if she's been dealing with this guy the whole time, even when she was with you?
No,
she wasn't.
I only dealt with him one time when I was with him, around the time that I got pregnant, Your Honor.
Talk about being there when it counts. Let's rewind to the hospital scene where Mr. Moses was more than just a supportive figure. He was hands-on during Lamia's entry into the world and stuck around for those oh-so-important first days. His commitment shines like a beacon through the fog of this paternity dispute. Stay tuned, because there's more heart-tugging drama just around the corner.
Who stayed there all 3 days in the hospital?
You did.
Me.
But
Who the baby came home with the first day she came home?
She came home with you, but still.
What part I'm not there for? My daughter look right there, the birth.
And Mr. Moses, I can see this makes you emotional when you talk about it, because you love this baby.
I do. That's my daughter. Until these results say otherwise, that's my daughter.
And you say you were led to believe she's yours. That's what you were told?
Yeah.
Oh, she's just beautiful.
That's my baby. Yeah, that's my baby.
She's so cute.
Oh, the emotional roller coaster. Just when you think Mr. Moses might catch a break, Ms. Lytle throws another wrench into the works, flipping her paternity stance whenever the wind and their relationship changes. It's more than just a paternity test. It's a test of patience and persistence. What's coming up? Even more twists that you'll need to see to believe.
I told you that before I had the baby, though, so you have to
Let
ask
him finish a
Your Honor.
But
sentence.
she tells me this off and on. If you're gonna tell me something, you stick to it. You know what I mean? Don't be on the fence. You know what I mean? Oh, we on good terms now. Come get your daughter. Come. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't like you now. No, can't get her. Stick to one side.
And in comes Mr. Green, the other contender in the Who's Your Daddy saga, summoned to the stage by Judge Lake. His testimony could turn the tables, or just add more seasoning to this already spicy story. It's like the final episode of your favorite series, where everything could change in a moment. Grab your popcorn, because this is about to get epic.
I get it now. Your ex, Mr. Green, is here. I'd like to hear from him. Ron, will you please escort Mr. Green in?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me make sure I have an understanding of this. She came and told you, I'm pregnant. Well, you all been dealing with each other. She says you're her ex. But once she told you that, she also admitted openly Mr. Moses also was a potential father. And then she added, but he's stepping up to the plate.
He stepped up.
And boom goes the dynamite. DNA results are in, and Mr. Green takes the fatherhood trophy home. This isn't just a paternity reveal, it's a plot twist that could spin off into its own series. Poor Mr. Moses, whose fatherly dreams just took a nosedive. But don't go anywhere yet. There's an emotional epilogue you won't want to miss as we see how everyone picks up the pieces.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Green. You are the father.
Can you believe this twist? Mr. Thompson spills the beans on his growing doubts about the paternity of his 4-month-old son, Micah. He's tangled up in worries about his wife's faithfulness and is really hoping Micah is his kiddo. But man, the doubt is real. So here he is, throwing down his heartache in court. Brace yourself, because this drama is just heating up.
Your wife has a newborn 4-month-old Micah Pate Thompson, who you hope is your baby, but say your doubts are overwhelming. Mrs. Pate Thompson, you hope and pray the results reveal that your husband is Micah's father, father for the sake of your family and your marriage. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, tell us about the current status of your relationship.
Seriously, talk about a plot twist. Mr. Thompson lays out the cold, hard truth about the nosedive his marriage has taken. They're rocking separate bedrooms, and the love life is on a serious hiatus. This emotional frostiness and the whole no-cuddle situation are feeding his paternity paranoia big time. And guess what? It only gets more tangled from here.
We don't sleep in the same bedroom. We haven't slept in the same bedroom in years. We haven't had sex probably in about 7-8 months, and it's just, she don't like to cook, she don't like to clean, she don't like to work. It's a lot going on other than Micah. So it's, like I said, every marriage is not perfect, but it's just...
Wow, did you feel that? In a super raw moment, Mr. Thompson lays it all out there, confessing his deepest hope that Micah is truly his son despite the roller coaster his marriage is riding. The fear of playing dad to someone else's kid is gnawing at him, yet he's all in for this little guy, no matter what the DNA carnival reveals. Stick around. The emotional roller coaster takes another dive soon.
You want this baby to be your biological child, but you truly doubt.
I would love for him to be my son. If he wasn't mine, I don't know if I could raise another man's child, but with everything going on and the connection that me and Micah has together, I can't let another child, especially another black child, grow up without a father.
Oh, the good old days. The couple takes a trip down memory lane, back to when sparks flew and love was in the air. They reminisce about how it all started with that zing of chemistry, contrasting sharply with their current gloomy days. This bittersweet flashback really sets the stage for the mess they're in now. Don't flip the channel yet. The story's about to thicken.
At some point, you all were happy together.
Yes, we met in college. We had a class together, and he sat behind me, cracking jokes, trying to copy off my tests. Next thing you know, we were talking and we were together in a relationship, and it was good. We were inseparable. You couldn't see him without seeing me.
Did anyone catch the details on their wild wedding? They share the scoop on their offbeat, hurry-up wedding bash, painting a picture of a marriage kicked off on a quirky, somewhat chaotic note. This backstory really sheds light on the struggles shaking up their union today. Hold on tight, because there's more chaos to come.
Yeah, it wasn't the most ideal situation, but we made the best out of what we...
But absolutely, and that's what it's all about when you're coming together to build a life.
Right.
So where did this go wrong?
What went wrong was when me and LaToya first started getting into marriage and stuff like that, I had found out she was doing some things that she shouldn't have been doing. Text messaging, meeting up with guys and stuff like that.
Here's where it gets spicy. The courtroom dives into the messy saga of cheating and distrust that's been the season's highlight. Mrs. Thompson drops a bombshell about her not-so-professional trip to Atlanta, tying directly back to the whole who's the daddy drama with young Micah. You'll want to see what happens next as the plot thickens even more.
At what point did you find out she was with someone else?
When I came back, we was under understanding that I was gonna come back and we was gonna work on our marriage. She told me that she was going to Atlanta for a job interview. I said, what job interview you going to? And she named a couple jobs off and I said, okay. Me being me, and in that conversation when me and her got done talking, I got on the phone with my mother and I was like, she not going to no Atlanta for no job interview. She going to Atlanta to do what she was gonna do. I was like, if we gonna start over, I'm gonna be a man about the situation because I was just with somebody. I'm gonna let her go ahead and get it out of her system.
Things are heating up. Amid fiery talks of trying to patch things up, Mr. Thompson throws a curveball with news of his engagement to another woman. Yep, while he's still married. Talk about complicated. The saga deepens, laying bare the serious cracks in their relationship. And just when you think it can't get any more dramatic, it does.
I'm still married. That's what he told me.
Yeah, I mean, I still gonna say it, but I did.
Mr. Thompson, obviously you needed more than 15 minutes of marriage counseling, so you understand that you can't ask somebody else to marry you when you're still married.
It was a lot going on in between that time.
This is a lot. The point when you found out you were pregnant with Micah, who did you tell?
The first person I told was the other guy.
You did?
Yes. The timeline and the way the conception and everything, I was thinking it was the other guy.
No one saw this coming. The climax hits as the DNA test results are finally unveiled in court.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Thompson, you are not the father.